and welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for being here. February 15th, 2025. We are live every Saturday morning, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Always so great to have you here with us. You can join our discussion at any point. 612-294-6949, 612-294-6949 is how you can join us. This is a show hosted by Mr. Mike Overson, right next to me, of Luminate Home Loans, Scott Wolmering, and I'm Ryan O'Neill of the Minnesota Real Estate Team, RE/MAX Advantage Plus. Appreciate you being here today. Mike, you're wearing a hat, buddy.
Wearing a hat.
I love it.
It's because I was out shoveling this morning with a stocking cap on and didn't have time to fluff the hair up. So I'm covering it up with this hat right now.
Have you seen him with a hat as long as we've known him?
Yeah.
I love it.
Every once in a while.
I've seen him with that. How was Lake of the Woods?
It was pretty good.
Was it?
Not bad. Not much size, but numbers. We caught pretty good numbers. 25 fish, a day per guy. So
that's fun.
Kept us busy.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for the nice comments coming in. Appreciate folks joining us on social media, wherever you're seeing the show. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. You can interrupt us at any point, questions, comments, thoughts. Brad Sanford,
good morning.
Insurance guru with us. A lot of important insurance stuff to talk about today.
I think next time I'm on, we should do a hat day. Everybody wear a hat.
Everyone hat?
I've never seen Ryan in the hat.
I wore one on the team trip.
Did
I
you
wore
really?
one when I was down to Mexico. I did actually. I bought one, and I had a hat on.
Like
Actually,
a baseball
hat. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was in college, I wore a hat almost one entire year. When I had long hair, I wore a hat the whole year.
What was on the hat?
And my brother Tim came over to visit me. This was when I was living abroad, and he just shook his head and said, "You got to cut your hair." The truth hurt.
A hat. What size hat do you wear?
It was a big hat.
7.
Yeah. Big
Seven
hat.
and
7
Yeah.
8 and a quarter, 7 and 7/8.
Tim looked at me and said, "Time to cut the hair."
Side story: when I played football, you wouldn't know this because of my stature, but I have a huge actual head.
Oh, really?
7 and
You
7.
do?
So I had to wear a helmet. I had to wear a lineman's helmet,
Oh,
and I played D-back.
It was kind of like those new NFL
The
helmets.
full,
the
yeah,
puffy
the full
ones.
mask. I'm in playing D-back. Finally got a different face.
Have you seen those new puffy helmets? Those
Yeah.
big ones?
Yeah.
Here we go. We're going live on air. WCCO. Thanks, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. And thank you for joining us, everybody. Saturday, February 15th, 2025. The Minnesota Real Estate Show here at WCCO. It's hosted by Mike Overson, Luminate Home Loans, Luminate Bank, right here in the Twin Cities, Scott Wolmering, and myself, Ryan O'Neill, of the Minnesota Real Estate Team with RE/MAX Advantage Plus. We hope your weekend is starting off well, and we appreciate you joining us. This is a live show every Saturday morning, and we welcome your questions, comments, thoughts. We're streaming on social media, your favorite social media platform, and you can text us or call us at 612-294-6949 with any questions, comments, thoughts. Scott, Mike, good morning to you guys. Great to see you both.
Yeah, good to be here. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Like Ryan said, this is the Minnesota Real Estate Show in our 20th year. And we love your comments. This is live and active. So 612-294-6949 is how you can call in live to the show. Or you can text us that number and we will cover your question with that. We do talk everything real estate and mortgage related. We're going to give those updates at the beginning. And we're going to talk about what we think is going to kind of happen through this year. Lots of stuff with Brad today on insurance. Who would have ever thought that insurance would be an interesting topic to talk about? But today is the Saturday. Today is the Saturday. Lots of stuff going on with insurance with all of the fires and just the tragedy everywhere. And of course that affects insurance.
Well, I know we've spoken about this before, but there's 4 main things when buying a house, right? You got the real estate side, you got the mortgage side, you have title, and you have insurance, right? And I remember we were having a contest of which one is the most boring out of the 4.
Yes.
What do you think?
It's
got to be insurance.
It's got to be
title,
insurance,
right?
Insurance or title. I've told my title person if there is a hell, That's the job I'll be doing in it.
Oh, Scott.
That is it's the most detailed. Oh my gosh, it's painful. I could never do that.
You would
job.
do a nice job,
As a
Scott.
title person, I don't
Yeah.
think anyone would close with me.
You've got a very good bedside manner.
Yes, I'm told.
As you're sitting there with the customers,
Yes, very
helping them
very
understand
sweet,
the
yes.
Alta,
Well, and patience. I have lots of
the
patience.
document, the Alta. By the way, that's your fun real estate fact. That's what they call the document that shows all the debits and credits when you're buying and selling a home. So your closer, say it was Scott, goes through the Alta with you to help you understand, hey, what are my expenses? What are my credits? And will I get a check?
Yes, that's exactly what they do, and it is. And the good ones are extremely, extremely good. When you have a good title, Melanie is our title closer.
Marty with trademark title, Marty Mahoney.
Absolutely outstanding.
Melanie
When
Schmitz.
you have a good one, I mean, my gosh, it's worth it. It's worth everything.
Yeah, we're excited. We've got Mr. Mike in studio with us. Let's do a little update here. The first segment, mortgage and real estate. Mike, do you have any good news with interest rates, or what's cooking there?
Pretty steady, to be honest with you, right? It's still somewhat of an EKG where we go up 2 days in a row and then we go down 2 days in a row, and then it comes back and goes up and then it goes down. So we're just riding this wave right now in the mid to high sixes. It's been there for a long time. And I think it's gonna probably stay there for a while. Again, as we move through the year, I do think they did drift down slowly, but
What would I'm struggling with what's going to cause them to drift down?
so I just think that the Fed cuts, Trump wants more Fed cuts,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
as the Feds cut their rate, it's not an immediate impact on mortgage rates, but mortgage rates do eventually follow, right? Because that lower interest rate from all the other types of things that people finance will trickle through the economic system and will eventually lower our mortgage rates. So we'll have that effect going on. Now, the one thing, who knows what Trump is going to do, right? He can step in and he can say, look, you know what? We're going to pump a bunch of money in the mortgage-backed securities market. And if they do that, all of a sudden we're going to have rates that are a full % lower within probably 5-6 months after they start doing that.
Okay, that's kind of because I've been thinking about. I mean, I know obviously we want to get to lower rates. We want to get there with how the market bears it. I'm not in favor of Trump artificially dropping rates to 4.5% for 90 days or any of that kind of garbage. Because, if the world is perfect and everything that Donald has said is that the economy is going to get stronger, everything is going to get better, blah, blah, blah. If that's true, that normally is not great for interest rates. I mean, when the economy is better, rates typically don't trickle down.
Yeah. It'll be, I do think that anything that happens out there, I don't think, as long as inflation, that's the biggest measure, right? As long as inflation doesn't take back off. And that's the one thing that if you lower rates too quickly, inflation will take off again, right? So as long as they don't lower rates too quickly, as long as inflation doesn't take off, we will see just that slow trickle down. Now, a lot of people are like, I was talking to a guy yesterday, he's like, I'm waiting for rates to get back down into the twos.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, we're going to be dead before that happens.
Yes.
like that'll, I mean, never say never, but I'm like, that will never happen again, not in our lifetime.
Well, if we're attacked by aliens, it's like that's the kind of thing. Yes, it could happen if we had another virus, something that tanks the entire world. But that's not something to sit around and wait for, because normally it's not a real positive. It's not a real positive thing.
Hey, guys, real estate update here briefly before the break. New listings in the Twin Cities year over year up 4.5%. 1,029 new listings came on the market. Pending sales or accepted purchase agreements down almost 7% year over year, 7% less accepted offers. The inventory is pretty much the same. It's down 2% year over year, 6,844. Very low inventory level. Buyers very sensitive to pricing. We're seeing some overpricing listings, Scott, that are sitting. There are offers coming in, but buyers are paying attention to prices. And so sellers, be sure you're talking to your agent to get it priced correctly, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, it's we've talked about it every single week. There are no homes on the market. I have 10 active buyers right now. I show maybe 1 or 2 homes a week out of 10 buyers. And that's the problem. So when, like the last 2 years, people are always shocked to know, Ryan, 2023 and 2024 were our 2 worst years in 40 years for units sold. And everyone's like, my neighbor's house sold with 5 offers on it in one day and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but there's only 6,500 of them. There's not 19,000 of them. So
Yep.
yes, of course, anything that goes on, if it's priced correctly and marketed correctly, sells quickly. But overall, it's tough sledding.
Yeah, we're up against our first break at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We appreciate you joining us. Hope you and your families are having a good weekend, a good mid February. Hard to believe the year is trucking along on us. We've got a lot of good stuff to talk about. Brad Sanford is here with insurance-related items. Very important topic for all of us regarding insurance. You won't want to miss. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Brad, we're kind of building you up here with this insurance.
After listening to Mike talk, I'm like, God, you're right. It is a debate. Which one is the most dull?
I personally would probably pick mortgage. I hate to say it. I just think, I don't know. I just think I mean, title is probably a close second.
To the most boring?
Yeah. I don't know why.
Everybody hates numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. People are not, you know what I mean? They just want to know, can I get the house? What's my payment?
Yeah, I mean, it is true. If you're setting up your party that you're gonna have, it's not like you go, God, I gotta get the accountants there. Make sure we get the accountants there first.
Yeah.
So make sure you have a lot of fun. Then we're gonna get all the insurance guys there. Brad accepted, and obviously he's an exception.
Speaking of accountants, I do have to give a little shout out. So there's an agent on the team, Andy McNair, who when I first met him 3-4 years ago, he was an accountant. And he was interested in becoming a real estate agent. Met him, and I loved his personality. Very fun guy. And it's interesting because he left the accounting world, came into real estate, and he's done remarkably well. Has made our top producer team trip year after year, and it's just interesting. Yeah, it's really interesting.
He's not your
I was gonna
typical
say he's not your
person.
yeah, he's not your typical accountant. You know,
When you meet him, like, I almost think like truck driver or
Yeah, he's just-
you know,
he's
just
fun.
Yeah,
He's down to earth
easygoing,
guy. Great guy.
funny guy. Like,
yeah,
has no
he-
hesitation
yeah,
to
he's-
talk about anything.
his name's not Sheldon. You know, so I mean, it's like
Sheldon.
Sheldon is an accountant.
What is that?
That's an accountant. If your name's Sheldon, yeah, Sheldon. Yeah, that's it. Sheldon is your accountant.
Oh man. You know, Mike, from a first-time homebuyer question, are you seeing many people use the first-time homebuyer programs? Minnesota's got a lot of them out there. Are you seeing much of that with mortgage lenders and with agents?
First of all, you're seeing a lot of first-time homebuyers.
Yeah.
Seeing, yeah. I mean, the first-time home buyers, you know, typically make up what 35% of the buyers out there. I would say it's pretty dang close to what we're seeing. You know, out of my clients I'm working with, I think that holds true to that percentage. How many are using like first-time home buyer programs, like the Minnesota State down payment assistance program?
Yeah.
Probably maybe not as many as you think. You know, there's some pitfalls to those programs. They're great because you can get down payment assistance and stuff, but if you go to the state, their interest rates are higher than what you can get in the normal market. So it's like, do I put my own 3% down and get a 6.5% rate? Or do I get down payment assistance through the state and take a 7.5%?
Is that why most of them don't do it?
Yeah.
Or is it just lack of knowledge about the product?
I would say 50-50, to be honest with you.
Andy's watching. Andy says, truck driver, hey, we love you, friend. We love you.
And typically you owe the down payment at the end, right? People forget that.
So you still have to, like the state program, you still have to pay that back. You know what I mean? So it's borrowed money. Sometimes there's interest on it. Sometimes there's not. Depends on your income level and some other stuff because they have different programs. But
Well, in a price range, first-time home buyers an entry-level price range, which is now under $500,000. So you're competing. So anything that you add in there, all that garbage with the help, it gets kicked out. So it's hard to get it.
Go back live on air. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Hey, top of the morning from this Irishman and our crew here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We appreciate you joining us every week from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. We welcome your questions, comments, thoughts at any point. Don't hesitate to interrupt us. We're here to provide value and good real estate information to you and your families. I have a featured listing, Scott. Fong Cow has a nice one in Woodbury, 11327 Brookview Road in Woodbury for $419,900. And it is a newer townhouse. It's got a lot of modern features, a quartz topped island in the open kitchen, white maple cabinets, slow close hinges, dovetail drawers. It's got a great family room, complete with the gas fireplace. Upper level offers a spacious owner's suite, walk-in closet. Funk says enjoy grilling in the patio. Backyard's very private, open space as well. Check that one out. Check out the pictures on that 11327 Brookview Road in Woodbury, Scott, for $419.9 on that one.
Very nice. Nice price range, nice area. Fong is an excellent agent. Give him a ring, go out and see it.
Yeah, again, we're talking about accountants. And Andy, Andy McNair, the last couple years, he has been the #1 seller on the Minnesota real estate team for the most, what we call team leads, or just, folks that reach out kind of randomly to us through, different websites, online, whatever. Andy's just done a wonderful job with them, Scott.
Yeah, well, you can't meet Andy and not like Andy.
Right.
I mean, and I've said this for 25 years. People ask me, what is the #1 thing to being a successful real estate agent? And the one thing you can't fake is are you likable? I mean, do most people meet you and like you? If that's the case, you're going to be pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got to throw some skill in there and know your trade. But that's what Andy has. You meet Andy, you like Andy.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Yeah, Mike, you got a thought on your mind there.
Well, I brought the truck driver. I was trying to think what's the opposite job of a CPA, because when you meet Andy, CPA would be like the last
Yes,
thing you would
yeah,
think that was his original trade before he got into real estate. So I don't know. Truck driver was just the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah, traveling model, truck driver.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, that would be it.
Hey, we do want to have this discussion too, and important one. Brad Sanford, Farmers Insurance. He's a partner on our show. So every week, if you go to mnrealestateshow.com, you can see the list of folks. These are not just random people that we found. These are trusted partners who have worked with the agents on the Minnesota real estate team over the last 20 years. And more importantly, you, our clients, to help you through transactions, to provide you with good advice. Brad is one of those folks. And Brad, we were talking before the show, a lot going on, buddy. A lot going on from an insurance standpoint.
I got a lot of calls this week about the fires in California, and people are asking, is that going to affect my rates? And it's interesting. I did a little bit of research on it. 95% of all fires are started by humans.
Huh.
95%. Can you believe that?
That
Well,
makes
yeah.
sense.
Well, I suppose, yeah. Who else would start them?
Well, I mean, the like
Electrical
lightning.
fire.
Oh, I suppose, yeah,
something like
lightning,
that.
electric,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I mean, people not taking care of the campfires that they have and that kind of a thing. But
Wow. So it's that.
95%. Yeah, okay.
95%. And some of the statistics are just absolutely amazing. Travelers expects to take a $1.7 billion loss from that state, from that fire. State Farm is taking $6.94 billion loss from it right now. And typically, I always tell people, when you're with a big carrier, they try to regionalize their pricing to try and keep it with what's normal in that area, just like mortgages, that kind of a thing. But with this kind of a fire, with this kind of an impact, there's been 17,958 claims so far, and they expect to be over 33,000. So
That's crazy.
State Farm is asking for an emergency rate hike. Everybody's fighting them on it. They just want them to take the loss. But what that means is yes, your rates are going to go up because they're going to spread it out amongst all of the customers.
Are people going to do anything differently? We were talking a little bit before the show because of this. At some point, if rates continue to go up, will people do anything differently? Or will the vast majority of us just say, okay, the rate went up. I guess my mortgage is going up another $100 this month because of my insurance?
Yeah, typically people will look for different places and look for a lower rate for relief, but you want to be careful in that because you don't want to give up coverages. One of the hints that I had for a new first-time home buyer is make sure that you have replacement cost coverage, that you don't just do the price of the mortgage. Now in today's market where it costs more for the home than it's probably worth, or it costs more to replace it than you paid for it, it's not as big a deal. But when you start getting a good deal, you want to make sure that you have that replacement cost, and typically people will start looking around for different rates.
Yeah, one thing we were talking about before the show, which I was actually thinking as the show's been going on, if you're insuring like a church, think about a church that was built, with all the stone and, how they were built. To have to replace that now. I mean, my God, you'd spend 10 times what it actually cost 15, 20, 30 years ago to build it, to be able to actually replace it with that kind of material and that, that kind of stuff. So yeah, you got a church that's now 12 million that's only insured for 6.
And does your church have that endorsement on their policy of historic that you replace it with those
That's right.
types of materials?
Yeah.
So the other thought, Brad, we were talking about is homeowners associations. A lot of listeners, condos, townhomes. What's going on with insurance with homeowners associations?
Much like church insurance in the last year, a lot of the big carriers started getting out of and just non-renewing. We're seeing a lot of carriers non-renewing homeowner associations right now too. So a lot of them are looking around and looking for coverage for their homeowners association.
I know a lot of associations to help mitigate, association dues going up. One of the things they have done recently is just take higher deductibles on their insurance policies. I wonder if that'll kind of filter through on the residential side, just regular consumers taking higher deductibles to keep that premium down.
It started last year. So what they did is hail and wind is a separate deductible. And what a lot of carriers have done is they've gone from 0 or the same as what your regular deductible for everything, 1,500, 2,500, whatever it is, they've gone to 1% or 2%. So you have a $500,000 house, you now either have $5,000 or $10,000 deductible for wind and hail.
What is the max for most people on a homeowner's insurance policy, max deductible?
Mike's industry limits it to 5%.
5%.
Of purchase price or purchase price
Of the
or
value.
of the value of the value.
Value
Yeah,
of
that
home,
makes
yep.
sense.
5%. And do many people do that?
No.
Okay, so 5%, you're buying a home the first time, 370, 400,000, that's 20 grand. If you have a fire, you're out. I mean, that's unreasonable.
Which leads to your intuitive question that you asked when we were talking beforehand is, are people going to start self-insuring pretty much? You've got a 5% deductible of 25,000, and really, I've also seen clients that are looking for a new home, looking for coverage, and the carrier says no, because you've had 2 claims in the last 3 years.
So when you say self-insure, for people that don't really understand what that means, maybe explain that.
So if your deductible is 25,000, it doesn't, if the damage that occurs to your home is below 25,000, it doesn't pay to file a claim because nobody else is paying.
You're out
It's
of
just
pocket
you.
anyway.
Typically, right now, homeowners have like a $1,500, $1,000, $2,500 deductible. So anything above that you're not comfortable paying, right? If it's $3,000 and you have a $2,500 deductible, don't file a claim. But if it's $10,000, then you would file that claim. So that deductible, if we've now raised it to 5 or 10, now you're quote unquote self-insuring.
But Mike, from your standpoint, before the break, to have a mortgage, you have to have insurance, right? Maybe talk about that.
Yeah, you have to have insurance. If you got a loan on there, you gotta have insurance. But you can crank up your deductible if you want to keep it low. You can go, like Brad was saying, you can go all the way up to 5% of the value of the home for your deductible. So again, $25,000 deductible. For most repairs, you're going to be paying out of pocket for it because, like Brad said, you're not going to file a claim for that stuff. It's basically there for if we have like a total loss here, that's what we're covering it. But anything else is basically on our dime.
Yeah, it basically just becomes catastrophic insurance coverage. You're just saying, I'm running the risk that the big thing's not going to happen, and I'm going to keep my costs down. It's like when health premiums got so crazy, people did the same thing. You held a $10,000 out of pocket and kept trying to keep your rates down.
Hey, we're going to keep the discussion going here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. You're welcome to join us, 612-294-6949 by phone or text. Before the break, Laura Antolek, great agent on the Minnesota real estate team. She made the top producer trip. She's got one spot in Lonsdale, 408 12th Avenue Northeast in Lonsdale for $358,000. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath home. It's 2007 built. It's got a heated and insulated 3-car garage. Nice open floor plan, stainless steel appliances, granite countertops, tile backsplash. There's a walkout basement, unfinished walkout basement framed for 2 more bedrooms, a 3rd bathroom and a family room. Also a fenced backyard with views of nature, no neighbors behind the home, with a great deck and patio. She's doing an open house today, the 15th, from 11, right after the show, 11 to 12:30. Check that out down in Lonsdale, 408 12th Avenue Northeast. for $358,000. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Appreciate your comments. Insurance, those are good points, Brad. A lot of good information.
It makes it a lot sexier than mortgage today.
Right?
That's right. Insurance beat out mortgage for the interesting. Hey, off topic totally. I'd like to say congratulations to my mom, Mary, and her husband, Michael. They just celebrated 25 years of marriages.
Wow.
Or on Wednesday, actually. So,
Happy anniversary.
yeah, very
Absolutely.
congratulations.
Love your dear mother.
Yes, I told her that's like 3 of my marriages. 25 years.
This guy. No, Mary. Yes. Congratulations.
Is there an Irish song you can sing to wish them
I
happy
could.
anniversary?
Absolutely.
That's nice.
There is a good Irish one. In fact, I may pull in my brother even on that one. Do a little O'Neill brother rendition. That would be a good one. That is a long time. You think about that, 25 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The same
Thanks.
person
Yes.
Yeah.
over and over.
Yes.
The same person. You know, we had a comment here. Looks like this one is just related to, again, multiple offers, seeing many multiple offers in the current market. Scott, you've been hearing much about multiples?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we haven't really dug into kind of full steam here, that we will in probably the next few weeks, but I just sold an upper bracket one that went to multiples. Yeah, I mean, we're not seeing 10, 15 offers on things, but if it's priced correctly, marketed correctly, in a price range that is kind of your meat and price range, there's definitely multiples out there.
Yeah. What do you see, Mike?
It's not every deal that's out there like it used to be, right? Every deal was multiples. It's like we're pulling inspections. You had to do all that stuff on every offer you made back in the day. Now not every deal is multiple offers. Now it's like you can find some out there where you're the only offer on the table.
Yeah.
So now you have a little bit of leverage as the buyer.
Hey, if you're watching social media right now, what did you think of the Super Bowl halftime show? Good, bad, indifferent thoughts on the Super Bowl in general, or the Super Bowl halftime show? What were your thoughts on that? What do you guys think?
I mean, I was 50-50 on it. I mean, I'm not like a huge Kendrick Lamar fan.
You
so
know his music, don't you?
I know, yeah. It was, it was fine, I would say.
When you're my age, here's the thing. I thought
When you're my age.
no, because
Should we sit down here?
and I'm fully aware of this.
Okay.
Okay, so I thought it was the worst halftime show I'd ever seen, and that I could be completely wrong. And that's what I said, because my kids loved it, and I was like, so obviously,
Your kids did.
yeah, so obviously I'm just wrong because they thought it was great, but I thought it was the worst one. I'd ever
Julie
seen.
Harris. Julie, I love Julie. Julie so politely says, "Not my cup of tea."
Yes.
We love you, Julie. You guys thoughts? Brad, did you have any thoughts on it?
I like Kendrick Lamar. I don't sing his songs.
Oh,
I
you don't?
I
No, they're so catchy.
I
And all,
don't.
and all the words just
I-
flow out. I can't-
I don't rap.
can't
I
believe you
usually,
can't do
I
it.
usually want my Super Bowl halftime party to be
Entertaining.
where I can sing to it, right?
Yeah.
I
Yes.
can sing along and
Here's my tip
make a fool of
for the
myself.
Super Bowl committee. I think there should be a criteria where there's got to be like 3 or 4 songs that everyone knows over maybe like a 3 or 4 decade of people. Because you think about the different ages of people that watch. If you were probably 50 plus watching, you really have
You're
no
just
idea
like-
what's happening
Yeah,
right
I
now.
know. I
None.
I
No
I
idea.
didn't even know who he was.
Yeah.
I would much rather see the O'Neill brothers up on a stage.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, we've been waiting for the call. We can't believe we're just getting no response. Just so disappointing. All right, we're going back. Here we go. Live on air. Welcome back to the second half of the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We appreciate you joining us here. And before we dive back into this discussion, Scott, how about this listing? Laura Antolik has this one in Lakeville, 9741 Norway Hills Trail for $1.3 million. This is a stunning Frank Lloyd Wright inspired custom Rambler, open floor plan, 2.6 acres at the end of a cul-de-sac, 4-bed, 4-bath, plus a 6-car. Wow. Heated garage, new custom garage doors, plenty of room for vehicles, recreational equipment, and more. There's a chef's kitchen with a 6-foot Sub-Zero refrigerator freezer, a decor oven, cooktop, Sweeping views of nature throughout the home, a walkout lower level to a large aggregate patio, fenced in backyard, no neighbors, no land will be developed. It is the highly accredited Lakeville School District 194. Check out those pictures. Wow. 9741 Norway Hills Trail, 1.3 million. Stunning Frank Lloyd Wright, Scott.
Incredibly beautiful house. I actually showed this for a client of mine when it was off market with Laura before they were ready to go on about 2-3 weeks ago. Super cool house. And if you're not familiar with Frank Lloyd Wright, floor to ceiling windows is kind of the look. Very, very clean lines. Just a very cool house. And if you are in that price range, it's a Rambler, hard to come by. It's a nice one.
Jerry, thanks for texting into the show. He says, great show. I see ads every day on TV of real estate people wanting to sell your home as is. I'm guessing that their offer will be about 25% below market. What do you guys think, Jerry? Thanks for your question, Jerry.
Yeah, most of them that I've done the math on, we haven't really looked at them in the last year or so, but when they came out, and of course I'm not a big fan of it, they were about 30 to 35% below what the actual value was. And the bottom line out there, and I'm not going to dog these companies that are doing it. It's the sales approach. They buy a fraction of the homes. They're doing it to advertise, to get you on the phone, to actually try to sell your house the right way, because the number that they come in with is crazy. And if it is that you don't want to have the headache of showing your house, I'll put you up in a hotel for 4 days and bring you a full price offer when you come back, and you won't have to take 40 grand less. But yeah, that's what they are.
Yeah, again, a lot of that going out there. Just realize that, generally speaking, if they're buying the home, they're looking to make a profit on it. In order to make a profit, you got to buy it low enough to sell it high enough. Mike, I know you got a lot of thoughts on that too.
Well,
Well, we all want to be nice and respectful. But the quick thing is, it's in it for them. It has nothing to do with you. They're not helping you.
yeah.
They're not out of the goodness of their heart saying, "Oh my gosh, we don't want these people to be frustrated and have people show their house." And how, here's our great offer for you.
I mean, if it sounds too good to be true, right? They're not going to come in there and be like, look, no showings, no hassle, no this, no that. And you think you're going to get just top market value
Yes.
with none of that happening. It's just not going to happen.
No.
Yeah, again, 612-294-6949 is how you can join us here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show, 612-294-6949. Talking to Brad Sanford of Farmers Insurance. Brad, is there anything current homeowners, people listening, should do based on this information you just described to us that, hey, with everything going on in the world, probably your rates are going to go up? Any thoughts or tips for people?
Have a conversation. I've been saying this like a parrot for the last 2 years, right? Have a conversation with your agent. Talk about your coverages. Make sure that it's replacement coverage. Make sure that you have the right coverage. Make sure that you're not just covering what the mortgage is. Make sure you're covering what it costs to replace the home. Make sure that you have the right property coverage, because insurance is to, like my buddy says, it's a scam until you need it. Right? And when you need it, then all of a sudden it's the greatest thing in the world. So having that coverage when you need it is the best thing you can do. So having a good conversation with your agent, but also, talk to your spouse and what can you afford? Because changing your deductible from $1,000 to $1,500 isn't going to be life changing, but adding a wind and hail deductible will lower your premium quite a bit.
Yeah, Brad, before we forget to, best way for people to connect with you and your outstanding help and service for folks.
You can go to the MinnesotaRealEstateShow.com and see my smiley face on there and click the link and go to my website, or you can call me at 651-690-2076. And what I wanted to say about the fires additionally is think about the big pickle that they're really in, because most states, if not all states, have a FAIR plan, which if you can't get insured with anyone, you can go to the state, they'll set you up with coverage. It's a lot higher expense, but the carriers that are in the state, based on how much they insure, how many clients they insure of the state, how many citizens, they have to pay proportionately into that program. So now these people are taking billions of dollars of losses, and now this program is going to also ask for more money. And so a lot of the things that I've been reading is that the carriers are leaving states. So your question about what are the insureds, what our homeowner's gonna have to do is a question that people are gonna have to think about this year. Absolutely.
Really good stuff, as always. Brad Sanford, Farmers Insurance. We posed a question on social media, Super Bowl. What do we think of the Super Bowl halftime show? What did we think of it? Scott, it was not one of your favorites, you said.
Yeah, well, like I said, but at the break we were talking about it, and I'm 55 years old, so it was the worst halftime show I've ever seen. But I also said, and I could be completely wrong, it could be the best one that anybody's ever seen, because I don't know any of the music. My kids, who are in their 20s and in their 20s, they all loved it. They thought it was great. So I fully understand that I'm older and that I could be completely wrong, but for me it was horrible.
Hey, Rye, we got to ask you your thoughts here. Come on, you got to hop on. What did you think? Your thoughts?
You know, the last good Rolling Stone.
I mean, listen to that voice. That is a radio voice.
That is a radio
That is
voice.
a radio voice.
We need to have this guy on.
The last good Super Bowl show, in my opinion, was the Rolling Stones, and that was probably going back 20 years now.
Yeah.
You know, Prince obviously.
Prince
gets
was
all
great.
the-
Prince's
all the
was
praise.
awesome.
Prince was great.
Amazing. You have to think of that. But, you know, it's usually my standard is if you're not playing an instrument, I don't really want anything to do with you. My opinion. He's very talented, that Kendrick Lamar, but it's just not my thing. Not my thing.
Yeah, again, maybe we should start a petition, a little petition, Scott, that just says that you got to appeal to at least 3 or 4 decades of people. You got to know 3 to 4 or 5 of their songs so you can watch and hum along or sing. You know?
So now the next question is who would you want to see at the next Super Bowl,
Yeah, good point.
right?
Well,
Like Tom Petty. Tom
yes,
Petty was.
that would be perfect.
Generally speaking,
That would be perfect.
there's like 3 or 4. I know he's no longer living. I know what you're gonna say.
Well, I was gonna say, I think if Tom Petty goes up there, Scott's gonna be like one of the best halftime shows ever, and his kids are gonna be
Like,
that
who the
was
heck's Tom
garbage.
Petty?
Yeah,
Yes.
that was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Who. I think if you put the Who up there, except for eliminating the 20 and unders, everybody kind of pretty much.
Mike's gonna.
Who? Yes, Who? Yes.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, it is. Okay, we'll think about it maybe for next week. Or if you're listening, if you've got someone good, text us, call us, or comment on our social media stream who you think would be good. But I think, you know, generally speaking, you want people to enjoy it. I mean, I don't know what's the average age of a football game watcher, and I'm sure there's a lot of method to their madness, but it is hard. It's hard when you're watching and you're like, what is going on here?
Well, you're not going to please everyone, right? So
Yeah.
that's the number one thing. So I mean, obviously here we're kind of split decision here. It's like Scott's household was like best.
Oh, they're like,
worst.
oh my God,
So-
it's the best ever. And I'm sitting there like, I feel like I was in the Twilight Zone. I'm like, this is awful.
Are we watching the same?
Yes.
Are we watching the same halftime show here?
Hey, moving forward into this spring market. So we're looking at the spring market here. Again, more important than ever, be sure you are talking to your agent about pricing, about a marketing plan, about positioning yourself correctly. We are seeing a good amount of homes still sit in the Twin Cities here, not sell, overpriced homes. We're also seeing very, very low inventory. So a lot of good buyers out there can't even find a house to buy. So if you're thinking about selling, there more than likely could be a buyer out there who's looking to buy your exact home. And again, you can make it subject to you finding a home of your choice. So you're not going to be homeless. There's ways to do it. So again, 6,000 plus homes. There's just nothing out there.
Yeah, in fact, that's maybe a good time for me to say this. If you are listening to the show and you live in Scott County, Carver County, or Dakota County, and you have a home that will be priced between about $1.2 million to $2.5 million, I have 4 buyers that I show one house to every 2 months. So if you're thinking that you're going to be selling and you are in those counties and you know what kind of home that is, if you're $1.5 million to $2.5 million house, reach out to us because we've got buyers there. And it's not just me. A lot of people are in that same situation. There's just nothing out there. I mean, we've done letters after letters to neighborhoods after neighborhoods.
Door knocking.
Yes, all of it. And, you know, people just don't respond. So if you're listening and you're like, hey, we're going to sell the next year and you are in that price range, reach out to me.
Hey, we're up against the final break at the Minnesota Real Estate Show, 612-294-6949. We appreciate you listening. Hope you all are having a good weekend. We'll be back after the break. Thanks for joining us. Miss Ashley commented, Ashley Hineker, great agent on the team, said, I wish we would have had captions on during the halftime show so we could at least read what he was singing. Not my favorite halftime show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have
Well,
some
because
captions.
actually smart.
Captions.
And intuitive and correct, like me.
Reading the captions on the
Yes.
screen. Good thoughts, good comments. If you ever have a topic, by the way, from week to week that you'd like us to hit, whether it is insurance related, more mortgage related, specific real estate items on it, please don't hesitate to let us know. I was thinking of an agent this week, Scott, I was talking to, who had a market analysis. So they were trying to determine the value. They provided the value to the seller, and the seller unrealistically had about a $40,000, $50,000 higher number, and they're just not motivated to sell. So they're not going to do anything. So there's a fair amount of that out there where people hear about rising prices and they're just like, yeah, I'm not motivated. So, our agent went through a lot of effort, helped them, and that's our job. But then they're just like, look, hey,
If I'm getting that number, I don't want to sell.
yeah, yep. Yeah, so there's some of that happening out there as well, because we hear about rising prices. Mike, any thoughts on that one?
Before you get to that, I was going to say, when you made the comment, they were $40,000, $50,000 off. I think a lot of people right now are listening thinking, well, that's not a lot of money in a real estate sale.
Yeah,
Because I think people think you list your house, that somebody gives you 90% of it.
sure.
It's 0.5% to 1% from list price to sale price. So when you say, well, why wouldn't you list my house $50,000 more? Because that's in range. It's not in range.
Yeah,
And that's how people need to think. We know that, but a lot of people don't. They think, well, if my house is worth $450, I'll list it for $5, and that's just death.
yeah. It is. It's hard to understand, from a timing pricing standpoint. But Mike, I know you see that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, to Scott's point, it's like the sometimes the mindset is, well, okay, we'll list it at 500,000 and we'll take 450. Like someone will just offer
Yes.
what they want to, right? And then we'll
They
we'll
will.
negotiate
They
whatever.
will a year later when you put it to 450 and it goes in multiple offers.
Right. That's
Right.
the thing. People won't just make an offer. They
No.
won't just be like, well, it's that he's got it listed at 5. He's way over. This is more of a 450 house. Let's go and offer 450. They just don't offer on it.
Yeah.
And it's weird when you try to explain that to sellers, but that's what happens.
We've talked about it before. The lowest offer, Ryan, that you've ever written on a property. Mine, we just talked about like 2 weeks ago. It was $1 million. The house was listed at 2.4, and I offered $1,350,000 4 hours after it was on the market.
Oh my gosh, that's insulting.
Yeah, it was, and of course, it was insulting, and they didn't. Pay it. And then a year later, it sold for $1.4 million because that was what it was worth. But and it was a pretty easy market. That's
God,
what it
don't
was
be
worth.
insulting.
That was very insulting. They were not, and that was back when you presented to the sellers.
Oh,
So yeah, so it was agent and seller in a room, and I said, hate to tell you this, guys, but
Yeah.
it's not 2.4, it's $1.4 million, and those are hard.
Theoretically, are the rules the same? We know that oil makes up a lot of the products that we have. So if we are going to drill, baby, drill, and it's going to lower a lot of prices, typically inflation will go up, right? If prices go down and everybody's spending. But if that puts more people into the market to buy, is it going to always work the same way, or will this be kind of a abnormal situation?
I don't think it'll be an abnormal situation.
No?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I just think that, again, if Trump's correct and we eliminate all of this money in spending, that money has to come back. And so I look at it, if you can put more money in people's pocket,
Yes.
then the rest of this becomes kind of immaterial.
Here we go. We're going back live on air. Thanks for joining us. Our final segment. Welcome back to our final segment of the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Had 2 other listings wanted to touch on. Ashley Hineker has a great one in Lakeville, Scott, 20181 Ginseng Way. And she's doing an open house today and tomorrow from 12 to 2. It's $660,000. It is 1 level living. It's Lennar built. It's only 2 years old. It's got the Corsica floor plan. It's got 2 bedrooms, a primary bathroom, spacious kitchen, dining, living room, 4-season porch. Got the nice gas fireplace. When you look at going on, beautifully finished walkout basement, floor to ceiling wooden beams, huge granite buffet. And going on, she just goes on to say it's a showstopper, adding another bedroom, bathroom with a 16-inch walk-in tiled shower. A wet bar is perfect for a mother-in-law suite, secondary living quarters. So many updates in this home, she says, including fully insulated garage with epoxy flooring. And she said, note garage cabinets are not included, but could be negotiated. A quick close as possible. Again, check this one out. It is, again, it's only 2 years old, 20181 Ginseng Way in Lakeville, doing an open house today, Saturday and Sunday from 12 to 2. And then one other one, Scott, 7930 Forest Way, number B in Woodbury for $319,900. It is a 2-bed, 2-bath, single level living home, has an attached 2-stall garage, all new flooring, LVP carpet, tile in the bathrooms, brand new stainless steel appliances, granite countertops, backsplash, tile bathrooms, and all popcorn ceilings have been scraped and replaced with the new knockdown in January of this year. So check that one out. 7930 Forest Boulevard, number B in Woodbury, $319,900. 2-bed, 2-bath. Nice looking pictures on that one too, Scott.
Counter granite tops.
Yeah, you like that.
Yeah, I do like
You're gonna make fun of me, aren't you? He's gonna just give me a bad time. Hey, from week to week, if you think of any topics, suggestions, things you would like us to hit, please don't ever hesitate to reach out. Again, we've got a featured partner on from week to week. This week, Brad Sanford, Farmers Insurance. Mike Overson, again, I hear I've received a couple nice comments. This week had a nice caller reach out about the ads during the week. They heard also the Luminate Bank ads. Maybe talk about Luminate Bank a little bit.
Yep. So we're going to have to retrain our brains, myself as well, because this weekend, Luminate Home Loans and Luminate Bank become one formal entity. So moving forward, starting on Monday, it will be Luminate Bank.
Wow.
So everything's under one entity. What does that do for us? Right now, like my branch can lend in 42 states. We get up to 49 states, right? Every state except New York is what we can do loans in. We have bridge loans, we have second mortgages, we have home equity lines of credit. We have all those types of bank type of products that now myself and other originators at Luminate can do. And so I encourage people to reach out. One of the things that we have here, we do have programs out there right now that are unique to us that can take a contingent buyer and make them non-contingent.
This is the one you need to talk about. You should listen to this, folks.
Right. So we have programs like that where if you're a contingent buyer, it's like, I want to go buy that next house first so I can move into the new house and then list and sell my old house after the fact. We have programs to help make that happen. We also have bridge loans too now that we're going to be underneath the bank, where we can give you a bridge loan and bridge that gap and maybe give you some money so you can go buy the next property with a cash offer first and then worry about selling your house after the fact. So a lot of unique things by going underneath the bank. So starting next week, it's going to be all Luminate Bank. I know I'm going to mess it up and still say home loans,
Yes.
It's just going to happen. But this weekend, they're switching all of our systems over. Right. So all the pre-approval letters, all the documents, all the disclosures we send out, all of those are getting switched just this weekend here to Luminate Bank.
Just a quick note. This week, an agent on our team had a buyer. Buyer was pre-approved with kind of a one-person mortgage shop in the Twin Cities. The deal fell apart on the day of closing. Buyer upset, seller upset, everyone upset. So it matters who you are getting a mortgage with. There's a reason we partner with Mike and Luminate Bank, Scott. Sad day for a lot of people.
Yeah, it is. And it's one of those things, and I would tell this to newer agents, newer agents that a lot of times are just happy that they've got a sale and don't really package their clients correctly. So my buyers, they have the right to work with whoever they want to work with from a lending standpoint. But I always have Mike in the game. Because at least when Mike gives the heads up, it's solid. And I don't want to take the rest of the time here, but just make sure that you go that extra step. Don't just say, someone says, I work with Jim, my loan officer from, wherever. That's great. But
yeah, thanks everybody for joining us on the Minnesota Real Estate Show. It's been great. We are here for you from week to week. Last quick thought, be sure to check out o'neillhope.org. We're opening up the Bob and Kathy O'Neill House of Hope here at the end of March. We appreciate your support for those in our community who are struggling. Enjoy the weekend, everybody. Thanks again. Yeah, I just wanted to give again just a quick shout out. Thank you to everybody, and thanks for everybody. Again, it's just o'neillhope.org. Excited about Mom and Dad's House of Hope. We're opening end of March for those that are again loss of job, car accidents, difficult times, have fallen behind, need some transitional housing. It's an up and down duplex. If you know of anybody who would fit, let us know. There's going to be no cost, of course, for the people living there. And Scott, help people build back up again, save a little bit of money, get back on their feet. It's important. And here at the show, we want to get back.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people don't understand with this, which I never really paid much attention to it until you got so involved. It's like when things go bad, it's like they take forever to go bad, and then when they do, it's bad now.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden you don't have a residence. Now you can't get a job because you don't have an address.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have this because you can't pay bills anymore. Or,
Yeah.
you know, and everything just kind of loads on you,
Snowballs, yeah.
snowballs on you. And these are great people that want to get back in. And,
Yeah.
Anyway, just an awesome thing.
Yeah, if you know of anybody, friends, family, if you just go to o'neillhope.org, you can nominate someone. We'll take a look at it. And again, we're going to have 2 families be moving in here at the end of March. We don't have those immediate folks chosen, so just let us know. Brad, great job today, buddy.
Thanks. Pleasure to be here. Good to see you guys.
Well done, Mike. Well done, bud.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I
Ray.
like the hat. Don't you like his
Yeah, I
hat,
like that.
Mr. Mike?
Well, you got a little, what is it called? The gray outfit?
He wears it. Yeah, you just say. Yeah, I know.
I matched the weather
Yeah,
outside.
exactly.
Hey, it's been a fun show, everybody. Thank you all. We'll be back next week. Enjoy the weekend. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.